to another episode of the Infield Chatter Podcast postseason.
We did it, baby!
Yes, all 162 plus games are done, and now we are in the off season. Hey, I didn't mention it. I'm Tyler. I'm one of your hosts. The other host, it's Eric. I don't know which side it's gonna be on, but this is Eric Henderson. What up, Eric?
What up, world?
Okay, so let's get into it. World Series. What do we think?
I thought it was fun. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was entertaining. I liked that they were small market teams. I did not enjoy it. You know what I mean? I had more fun watching it than I think I did last season. To be honest, the Astros weren't in it. The Phillies weren't in it.
The Dodgers weren't in it. Yeah,
The Dodgers weren't in it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. The Rangers were a team that I think we talked a lot. Like, there were a lot of will they, won't they, kind of like make the jump. They were in like a tough division, so you weren't even sure if they were going to make it in. And for them to go from like, wow, they just got in, that last like end of the season fight, to then like make it all the way and win it was like a really fun kind of like story to follow.
Yeah, they lost 100 games 2 years ago, and then I got the stats. They're the third team to lose 100 games and win the World Series within the next 2 years. The other team was the 1914 Braves and the 1969 Mets.
Nice. That is the most like baseball-y stat, though, I think, out of all the like, baseball. I love baseball. There's so many stats you could put, but sometimes you're just like, we found the subset of the subset of a subset of like things that have happened, and here is the
Oh
info.
yeah.
So shout out to whoever does that work, though. Honestly,
yeah, that's why I
They're
love
real
baseball.
heroes.
That's why I love baseball. It's because it's 150 years old at the organized level. So the stat sheets go very, very deep. There's been box scores since before white men could learn how to read. So, and so that's fun because the Braves were not in Atlanta when they won that in 1914. They were the Boston Braves in 1914, I believe.
Whoa, did not know that.
So yeah, it's quite interesting, and they went 11-0 on the road in the postseason. They didn't lose a single game on the road.
Yeah, I think that was the most impressive thing. The fact that they were undefeated for their entire postseason was just incredible. Because you talk about what a big deal like home field advantage has, and the fact that like even like Arizona, like they were able to squeak out games on the road, especially against like a really hard like place to play like Philly. But the fact that the Rangers went perfect on away games is just it's really impressive.
Oh, absolutely absurd. Because there was that World Series a couple of years ago with the Nationals and the Astros, I think, where all of the teams in the World Series won on the road. But as far as the entire postseason, winning all of your games on the road, that's huge. Like, I think they lost a bunch at home, but I mean, that's to me seems kind of unprecedented. I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't think that's ever happened before.
I don't think so either.
Especially in the last game, they were getting no hit through 6 innings, by Zach Gallen. So they came back from being no hit in the 6th inning, and they were just determined, And then I got more like, to be honest, I'm not surprised. I'm glad they won. I'm not surprised that they won because at the beginning of the season, they were the one that were rigged to go. They had all of the offense last year. They had none of the pitching. In the offseason, they invested in all of the pitching. They got, the biggest names you could get with DeGrom. And then when DeGrom failed, they filled they found replacements in Jordan Montgomery. They figured it out. They brought in Aroldis Chapman, the ultimate rental.
Aroldis Chapman is the most like, and I've seen so many people post this. He is really just like a lucky penny. Every once in a while, you're just like, oh my god, there he is. You just see him, and you're just like surprised, and you're like, wow, good for him.
Well, I mean, when you hold the record for the fastest pitch ever thrown, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. Did you see the like huge bruise that whoever he hit on the leg? Oh my god, it's gruesome. Yeah.
I bet it is. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, let alone roll this as fast as pitch. But no, he has been shining ever since he was with the Cincinnati Reds. That person, he is in the history books. I'm not surprised that he gets bounced around kind of like he does. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes next year because he's a free agent now.
Yeah,
So
my only other thought.
back to New York.
Right. Yeah, just go live with the Mets and keep getting cursed.
No, the Yankees. He was so in 2016 he left the Yankees to go to the Cubs, and then in 2017 he was back on the Yankees with his World Series ring.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest, I kind of hope he ends up back in the Yankees with his second World Series ring. Be like, hey fellas, I'll be here for 6 months, and then I'm gonna go get some more jewelry.
Yeah, I was really happy for Corey Seager to win. This is his second World Series MVP.
That is correct.
I think he kind of got lucky because if Garcia didn't get hurt and he was hitting like crazy, I think he had like 21 RBIs across 12 games. It was just like crushing. If he didn't get hurt in that series, I think he would have been like probably the favorite to win. So Corey Seager better send him a nice edible arrangement or something because
Seager really showed up when it mattered. I don't have his stats for what he did. He hit multiple home runs, at least 3. Don't quote me, but he had at least 3 home runs that were important, not just home runs, but important home runs. And so he really showed up at the level that he is known to perform as. And then as far as he goes, he is the 4th ever to win 2 World Series MVPs. He is, let's see here, the only other player to win the MVP in the World Series with 2 different teams is Reggie Jackson. So he stands with Reggie Jackson.
Not bad company.
And then this is where he stands alone. He is the first player in Major League Baseball history to win the World Series MVP in both the National League and the American League. He stands alone. He's a Hall of Famer for sure, Corey Seager.
That's actually really, really cool.
Yeah. And then Bruce Bochy came out of retirement for this. So he knew what was up. I've been saying that he must have known what was up the whole time. And so that gets him his 4th World Series ring as a coach. And that is the Major League Baseball record, I believe.
I think I saw that too. That's awesome. I'll be interested to see if he's like, hey, let's run it back for another season next year. If he's like, I came, I saw, I conquered, now I'm out again. See ya.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me what his contract was with the Rangers at the beginning of the season, so I do not know if he's on a multi-year contract or if it was just a one and done to see what happens. But I can see that. But and then my favorite part about the celebration was, did you see the owner of the Texas Rangers when they gave him the trophy? I always give the trophy to the owner first. Right. He looks like one of those 15-foot tall skeletons you see during the Halloween season. He looks like he was the owner when the Texas Rangers began being a team 56 years ago, whatever it is. He looks like he's been there the whole time. He looks like that guy from the Tales of the Crypt out there receiving his trophy. So I got a big kick out of that. And then the last stat, that thing that I have written down is Will Smith, not the rapper, Major League Baseball player Will Smith, the pitcher, not the catcher that plays for the Dodgers, because there's a couple Will Smiths out there. That's his 3rd World Series in a row that he's won. He was with the 2021 Braves. He was with the 2022 Astros, and he just won with the 2023 Rangers. So he's the only player to win 3 back-to-back-to-back World Series. Will Smith.
My guy just knows how to get his contract signed.
Keep his wife's name out of your motherfucking mouth.
I just looked up. Bruce Bochy is on a 3-year contract from 2023 to 2025.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought it was, but I was not sure.
Yeah, 1.5 million.
That's the last of the stats I have about the World Series. So, but considering what happened just 2 days ago, ain't nobody safe if you're a manager with a contract. The Cubs shit-canned David Ross, and they still owe him $4 million.
Yeah, so we'll jump into that next part then. Yeah, that was probably the move that I was the most surprised about. I mean, David Ross to me feels like more than just the manager, just some guy that played for them. Like, he feels very much like, if you were gonna do a Mount Rushmore of Cubs players, I feel like he is so like integral and like important to it. He wasn't just some guy. He was a huge influence on all this. So for them to just because this 1st or 2nd season he was managing,
I think it was his 4th.
Oh, okay, I'm way off that.
3rd or 4th.
Yeah, it's not like they made it pretty far. They did pretty well. They fucking dropped the ball the entire month of September. But besides that, I thought he was doing great things. The city of Chicago loved him too. That was the other thing.
He
really felt like the city, the Northside's manager and like guy. So that
Oh
to
yeah.
me is really what's some of the most confusing parts of that.
No, they wouldn't have won the World Series in 2016 without him because he was John Lester's personal catcher. That's how we ended up with him in the first place. And
Mm-hmm.
so, for those years where Lester was heavily involved as the ace in the rotation, he was there calling those games alongside with Lester. And then to have the beautiful moment in your last at bat and your last season of the World Series to hit a home run in a game 7, you can't ask for a better send off than that. And
Mm-hmm.
so he is very beloved. And I know he hasn't had the best record. He may have a losing record overall with the Cubs, but I don't really I don't see this as justified. To be honest, as a Cubs fan, I think Jed Hoyer, the president of operations of the Chicago Cubs, needs to be shit canned because this guy's a fucking idiot. So he is responsible for dismantling the team after the 2016 World Series. He's the person who traded Chris Bryant, traded Anthony Rizzo, traded Javier Baez, didn't pay anybody. He's the guy that makes all the decisions. And so now here we have a team that has potential, and they brought in a Craig Counsell, who is, to me, in my eyes, a loser as the manager. So he's in the talks for manager of the year for coaching the best team in the worst division. Like, he coached a bunch of losers to go lose in the first round in the playoffs. I don't
Right.
understand what happened. And then the Cubs have, I'm just going to rant about the Cubs
Keep
for a minute,
going.
but
Kill it. Yeah, you're doing it.
they over the last 4 or 5 years, they have no money for players to throw out. They have no money to keep the big ticket players, which is what we need, is to pay some good players. But they just gave Craig Counsell, a losing manager, a record breaking $40 million over 5 years. He's the highest paid
Highest
manager in
paid.
Major League
Yeah.
Baseball. And then you can tack on the $4 million that they still owe David Ross through next year of his contract. So I do not know what Jed Hoyer is doing, but as a Cubs fan, I want him fired. I miss Theo Epstein, or is that right? I
Yeah.
might have just
I think
fucked his
so.
last name up.
No, yeah.
I miss
It
Theo
sounds wrong because it's Epstein, and you're like,
because it's
is that?
FC.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of buzzword, I don't want to,
Yeah. Well, on the
but
opposite, but yeah, I think it's crazy because you wonder like what kind of feel the players have. Cody Bellinger is about to be a free agent, and
yeah.
would he come back? Do you think like that affects it?
I mean,
He.
he already turned down his $25 million option, knowing that the Cubs are cheap as hell. I don't see him. That the Cubs are listed currently as the third potential team that Cody could sign for. Uh, he is projected to go Yankees, Red Sox, or back to the Cubs. But considering the fact that they already had 25 million set aside for him, even though he's worth it, I don't think they're going to offer him more than 25 million because, like I said, the Cubs are cheap as hell. They made billions of dollars in revenue winning the World Series, and they didn't pay any of the players that did the work, and now they won't pay any players to get us back in a hopeful situation. For anything. Like, Dansby Swanson got to be the luckiest guy on the planet because he was the only person to get a multi-million, multi-year deal out of anybody who was involved with the open market that's over the last couple of years, and again the heavy hitters that won the championship to begin with. They didn't get paid. They didn't even get a rightful send off. They were all traded on the road at the deadline in 2021, 22 season or whatever, and this guy's just destroying the Chicago Cubs at the moment. So Jed
Storied
Hoyer,
franchise too. It's unfortunate.
right? Like, I just don't like they very much were. It took them a century to turn it around, and it took them 2 years to get right back to where
Yeah.
they were.
They're like,
And so,
our reputation of being the worst and huge bummers, we got to get back to our roots.
right,
That's what
no,
it
we are
feels
back.
like.
We're back to we're right now we're the unlovable losers because Jed Hoyer can ride a bus to Milwaukee for all I care and never come back.
Mhm.
But yeah, because just on the topic of the Cubs before we dive into other free agents,
Mhm.
Marcus Stroman also declined his option to stay, and so he is testing his value in the free market agency. He was a little injured towards the end of the season, but he's kind of been our ace for the last 2 years or 3 years, I believe, is what we had him for. And I hate to see Stroman go. He brought energy to the clubhouse. He brought energy when he wasn't pitching. He was in the dugout hyping everybody up.
Mhm.
He got that badass haircut and shit. Like, he's a cool guy. And so, as a Cubs fan, I'm disappointed in how this is about to go down. And so, I really don't see anything coming out of next season. To be honest, we're gonna be third in the NL Central, and you heard it here first.
No, no. Yeah, I'll be really curious to see who's playing on the Cubs next year when they
Yeah,
on opening day. So
but
lots of stuff to happen. So we'll see
yeah,
what comes next.
yeah, we do have a wonderful squad. We have a great inner middle infield. What I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Happ and Nico Horner won, or no, and Dansby Swanson all won Gold Gloves this year. And so I don't have I think it's been since 2009 or something like that, since a shortstop and second baseman from the same team won Gold Gloves together. So the Cubs did manage to do that. So they do have some good youthful talent, but they have, not a lot to show for it at the moment. So,
Yeah.
but it's better than being on the south side of Chicago because the White Sox had a fire sale. They have 12 players that are now free agents that didn't get traded at the deadline last season. I got some
That's
big
probably,
names.
I think, before you like listen, I think that is probably what's most interesting about the Cubs and the White Sox. Both of them like had perfect opportunities, you think, at the trade deadline to be like, well, let's cash in right now and move some people. I thought Marcus Stroman was definitely going to get moved before the trade
Yeah.
deadline. That was like, he was definitely one of the major names I thought was going to happen. And for him not to, yeah, it's just, and the White Sox, they were even farther out of it. So for them to not try to like cash in on some of the stock they had was just, it was really, really confusing.
Yeah. I mean, the White Sox did what they could. They dished Lance Lynn and Lucas Giolito. They dished
Yeah.
most of their starters. But now this season they have among names that are free agents for them. Tim Anderson, not staying. Elvis Andrews, Liam Hendricks, one of the best closers. He won the American League Comeback Player of the Year award. We had both leagues Comeback Player of the Year are now free agents. Cody Bellinger won it in the National League, and Liam Hendricks beat cancer and returned and won AL Comeback Player of the Year. Both of them are now free agents.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yasmani Grandal, arguably one of the best catchers behind the plate, and Mike Clevenger, who you know very, very well.
Yeah, I'm not so surprised you get rid of him. He wasn't pitching great, and he's somebody that like, obviously he was like cleared of all wrongdoing or whatever. He served like his suspension time, but he's like a guy where it's like, oh man, do we really want the guy where like the story is he threw chew spit on some woman's like kids? Like, I don't know if I want that guy around. So
I
I wasn't
did. I
that
did not know
surprised.
that story.
Oh, it's
So
gross. Yeah, look it up. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, the White Sox, who knows? So I'll transition to mine. Cleveland
yeah,
signed a new manager,
that's right.
Stephen Vogt rather.
Yeah,
I'm excited. 39 years old, so young gun. He played his last baseball game for the Oakland A's in 2022. So
yeah,
not that long ago. He was like very well loved at the A's. I had never heard of this, but he had won the Catfish Hunter Award, which is the most inspirational player for the Athletics. He won it 3 years in a row. They would chant, "I believe in Stephen Vogt." The fans, they love him.
Oh
And
yeah, I like him. I like him too. I don't know too much about him. He is a
he's a fun
beloved player.
guy.
Yeah, he is known very well for his first home run, or his first career hit was a home run, and his last career hit was a home run. He bookended his career with home runs, which is a beautiful story.
Yeah, the last
Uh,
one he had his family announced him to the plate, actually.
yeah, and then you sent me the video of him with his Matt Foley impression. Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, he's just
Uh,
like a fun guy. Like all the things I keep seeing that keep coming up about him, he's
yeah,
just a silly dude, it seems like.
yeah.
Where's the oh man, I had another good one that was like he used to do uh oh, he also does like basketball referee impressions
Oh,
and
great.
he's just
No,
a silly friend. I can't wait for his for like press conferences and stuff with him
yeah.
in
If
Cleveland.
anybody's got to fill Terry Francona's clown shoes, it's definitely Stephen Vogt. So
I mean,
I hope he gets the moped
I was
to
about
ride
to
to the
say if
to
he
the
better
ballpark.
I wonder if that's gonna be like Terry Francona's like gift for the new guy. Like, hey, good
I
luck
hope so.
and make sure you lock up your moped
Make
because
sure you
they
lock your
steal those in
scooter.
the city.
But if somebody steals it, the city got your back. Don't
Yeah, true.
worry.
We'll put out the full Monty to get everybody in the city eyes on it. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm excited for him. They don't have too many like off-season moves to make. I think a lot of it similar to the Cubs, they just don't want to spend money. They have traditionally been very good about either moving players right when they're about to be past their prime or like about to hit it, or so I'll be really excited to kind of see what the lineup for Cleveland looks like next year.
Yeah, the only thing I have is Toesker Hernandez. I believe he plays for Cleveland. He's a free agent this season. He's on my list.
What did you just say?
To Toesker, is that his first name? Hernandez? I
There's
don't know.
okay.
You guys got a lot of guys named Hernandez on
We
your
do.
team,
We
so
used
I
to
kind
have
of
two
figured.
different guys with Rosario on our name. So
You used to have like 9 players that only had 6 last names.
that's
Something
true.
like that. But I do not know if he is on the Guardians. I kind of figured he was. I figured you'd have my on. I had my back on that one. You left me hanging.
I don't think that was him.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
that's okay.
But I don't have any Guardians as free agents on my
That's
list. So
okay. There's a
if you
lot of
know
other
of
good
any.
ones. Joey Votto was one,
Oh yeah,
obviously.
he didn't make my list. I have a list of the good free agents.
Yeah, hit us with that. We're getting close to time, so hit me with some good ones.
So we got coming up here. I'll just start spot pick. We got Jorge Soler. No, he is known for MVP of the World Series for the Braves. No, the Nationals. Nationals or Braves. He also won the World Series with the Cubs. He's a free agent. He can add some power. Rhys Hoskins from the Phillies is a free agent. And then it doesn't sound like he is going to stay in Philly. He's projected to go to the Brewers, the Mariners, or the Padres have openings for him. Lucas Giolito. He was obviously traded from the White Sox in the midseason, so he's a free agent now. Interesting to see where he'll end up. Whit Merrifield out of Kansas City. He's been shining down in Kansas City as a free agent. And then we got Harrison Bader. He's one of my personal favorites, to be honest. I don't know if you know when he got traded or optioned during the late in the MLB season, and he like found out like pretty much at a press conference or some shit, and he was like, I don't even really know what this means, but I gotta pack my shit and move to Cincinnati for now. Mm-hmm. And so I'd like to see where he ends up. He is rumored to end up with the Cubs if they have any money. Cubs, Giants, and Nationals. And so we also have the big time free agents. We got Shohei Ohtani. Interesting to see
which is like an obvious one, but yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's rumored to get $500 million, even though he just had to have elbow surgery. But it looks like he may end up on the Dodgers because he may want to stay in California. We got Blake Snell, who may win the Cy Young this year. He's kind of rumored to go to the Cardinals, which would be they need pitching or they need a lot of help in St. Louis.
Yeah, they need a lot. Yeah.
Josh Hader, one of the best closers in the game, may end up on the Texas Rangers, which would fill whatever hole Aroldis leaves if he goes back to New York. Jordan Montgomery may also stay with the Texas Rangers because he had such a good time there, and he's probably really beloved. Aaron Nola is projected to stay with the Phillies because that makes sense. And then Sonny Gray is kind of projected to stay with the Twins. So
I saw the other day he might go to the Phillies, actually.
Okay, yeah, that would be a good fit for him. These are all great pitchers that are, wherever they end up, they're definitely going to improve the ball club exponentially the day they show up. And then we got a couple of guys from overseas that are projected. The number 2 free agent is Yoshinobu Yamamoto coming out of Japan. He is projected to go to the Mets, possibly. They're the big interest for him, but he played 7 seasons in Japan. He had a 1.82 ERA over 897 innings, pitched 2 no-hitters, and was a 2-time MVP in their league. So it will be very interesting to see where he lands. And then we got coming out of Korea, we got Jung-Hoo Lee, and he is also projected to go to the Giants. But he played 7 seasons in Korea with a 3.40 batting average. And so we got two big guys coming out of the international market that would be interesting to see where they end up as well. Personally, I kind of hope that anybody coming out of Japan joins Seiya Suzuki and the Chicago Cubs, but we'll see. It'd be nice if we could get Shohei Ohtani and also Yamamoto.
I don't think you're going to get Shohei, so Suzuki, I don't think don't put that on your vision board. Don't waste the glue.
A boy can dream,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that'll be cool. It's always cool to see what international players pull in. I think a lot of times, and this might be like incorrect, but I think a lot of times they will go where other international players are, where they'll feel comfortable. So I think you keep an eye on that as well.
Kind of want to have it. Watch them all end up on the Dodgers with Ohtani because they got the money. Oh yeah, and then I got teams that are looking Teams that are shopping real
hard.
Yeah,
let's finish on that.
Yeah, we got the Giants need some help. They got a new manager because they shit canned my boy, Gabe Kapler. Philly needs help because they can't. They're two times they made it real close, but no cigar. Blue Jays are shopping. The Yankees are clearly shopping. The Cardinals clearly shopping, and then the Cubs ain't got no money, but they're looking at whatever they can find at the Goodwill store. It sounds like. And then the most interesting thing is the San Diego Padres, because they are broke as fuck and they need some help. They've talked about trading Juan Soto just to clear up some money.
Well, they had to take, and I was told by somebody else I was talking with this, but they took a $50,000 loan so they could make sure they finish payment. And again, I've heard other places do that, but you're out there taking loans. It doesn't really signal anyone. We got this figured out and it's going great over here. So
yeah, no, I've honestly never heard of a team taking a loan out to pay to finish their payroll for the rest of a season. But clearly all the investments that they've made aren't panning out for them. And so I don't see they don't have any buying power currently if they're bankrupt. And so they're really in trouble. If you're a San Diego Padres fan, I don't think next year is going to be your year either.
Probably not.
But go buy a T-shirt, help them out. Maybe some $9 lemonades or something at the ballpark. Yeah. They need your money.
Yeah, keep the concession stand open all year round just to
hot dogs are sold through the 12th inning. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be a cool. Are you done or you had more?
I was just gonna say it's gonna be an interesting. The market opened a couple days ago because they have to wait until so many days after the World Series ends to start making all this stuff, and so it's been a pretty active couple of days so far, and it'll be very exciting to see how this all pans out over the next couple weeks, couple months until we get to spring training. I'm sure there'll still be some big names left on the list available even into the weeks coming into spring training, if not as spring training begins, because that's kind of how it goes. People will fall into place, and so I'm excited to see what happens around the league, and because there's a lot of good names available this year. So
yeah, it's gonna be a fun off season. And yeah, I'm just excited to see who shakes out where, who finds money, who takes worse deals so that they can live in Chicago or whatever. That's probably how they're selling it. They're like, listen, we'll put you up in above the bean if you come play for us, or something like
that's
some
right.
dumb deal.
You get an unlimited CTA pass on the train.
We'll give you Do Right Donuts every second Friday if you play your cards right here, okay?
I love me a Do Right Donut. Shout out to Do Right Donuts.
Shout out Do Right. Sponsor the show, Do Right. We need it.
That's right.
We want it. Bring back
the
Nutella latte. Yeah. All right,
ship me out a couple vegan birthday cake donuts, please.
Love it. Awesome. Well, we're gonna, a lot of fun things in store for our off season. Thanks for checking it out. We'll be out talking stuff all year. And hey, like us, subscribe us. If there's stuff you want us to talk about, let us know. And
retweet it.
And we'll see you next time. Take care, y'all.